everybody? Earl at thelogbook.com, back for more Voyages of Shelf Discovery. We are opening one thing and one thing only tonight, and this is another one of those things where the moment that I saw that someone had thought to make this, it was like, oh yeah, I am getting one of those. Now, the reality is I had to wait a little bit for my budget to allow, but this is Super 7's reaction figure of the Sesame Street Typewriter Guy. Now, this is part of a wave that has other figures in it. They are new costume variants of the Count, Bert, and Ernie. They're all in their pajamas, which is great, but this was the guy I homed in on as, okay, if I get nothing else from this wave of Sesame Street reaction figures, I've got to get the typewriter. We all remember the typewriter. He just rolls around in this white void and types on himself. Because why wouldn't you if you're a typewriter? So let's go ahead and get this little dude open. Really not a whole lot to it. No tie downs or anything like that. And reaction stuff, if you're going to open it, it's not going to put up a huge fight about it. And with a little bit of care, and I frequently open stuff this way, and there's a reason for that, you can preserve the backing artwork. And the backing artwork on the Sesame Street figures is delightful. Now, because he's kind of in this cube as far as the blister card goes, it's a little trick to getting him in there, and he's in this tray really good. Like, you have to give him a push from the back, and then he pops out. The wheels are practical wheels. They're maybe not quite on the the Hot Wheels car level, but they are wheels. They will roll. One of mine was a little bit on the sticky side, but there we go, that's okay. The only other thing that moves are his arms, and they just move up and down. He can't really type on himself. The detail is perfect. I have no notes, no complaints whatsoever. It's the Typewriter Guy. What more can you possibly ask for? So I started asking myself, okay, to demonstrate kind of scale here, the scale is roughly 3¾ inch, but let's compare him to like some other little guys. So we got, R2 and Tweaky and Vincent and the Daggett from Battlestar Galactica. Okay, we're in that neighborhood. If anything, he's a bit taller than any of them, just by virtue of the paper sticking out of his head, which is always there. It's nothing about this figure is detachable. He's got rolling wheels. He's got arms you can move. Let's see how he stacks up next to other keyboard-based things. Great. No complaints there. We have a winner. Because somebody will inevitably ask me where the little computers came from. Those are 3D printed items from an Etsy seller that I believe is no longer an Etsy seller. They're called Rabbit Engineering. And I believe they released all of the STL files for their 3D printed little tiny replica computers. So you've got Keyboard Guy just kind of trying to blend in there between a Commodore 64 and a TRS-80, as you do. And what else could I think of? Who else have I unboxed recently? Oh, yeah. Well, maybe these guys are checking to see if he's ghost-written anything that they need to know about. Because why not? The delight of the Sesame Street reactions is just, it's neat to have these little tiny morsels of our childhood preserved in this way. And hopefully, the licensing of these characters for these, hopefully that gets back to Sesame Workshop. Hopefully somehow that helps public television at this time when public television seems to have, through no fault of its own, a giant bullseye painted on its back. So I hope that by getting this stuff, we are helping with that situation somehow. In any case, it's just really neat to have this little dude in action figure form. Right up there with the Sesame Street Martians, about the last thing I expected. But the moment I saw him, it was definitely a case of, I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but I am definitely getting one of those.